Now, moving on to the other topic, because this is where the productionization happens. Building agents and launching is fun, but you need to govern them, you need to manage them. So, agent ops is evolving into a very strong and important um, aspect in this whole agent space. Agent ops now allows you to handle all the operations related to agent interaction with an LLM, agent interactions with tools, agent interactions with knowledge bases, because you need to really track all of this. And I'll give you again a real life example here. Couple of weeks back, we were in DC meeting all the regulatory bodies like FINRA, FRB, which is Federal Reserve Board in the US, and OCC, which is Office of Comptroller of Currency. So all these are regulatory bodies who banks kind of they regulate banks, large banks, small banks, credit unions, and so on. We met them and we spent the whole day there in DC meeting all these regulatory bodies, and we asked them, look, AI is being kind of AI juggernaut has already started. Organizations are adopting AI, and agents are kind of the better way to use these agents. Sorry, AI. Like you saw the pictorial representation that we had yesterday, where if LLMs are like water, agents are like the water bottle, where you're able to bottle the genie. So we did ask the regulatory bodies on what is your guidance to large enterprises, banks, and financial services firms. And they simply said, look, as long as you have explainability built into the system, we are fine. So that was really, really eye-opening, because the moment they said explainability, it made all the sense. They said, look, we cannot control, we cannot prescribe what percentage of say uh, threshold that you should maintain. But as long as you're able to track how the agents are taking a decision and how are they evaluating a certain decision, we you might be able to sail through any regulatory audit that may happen. And again, with giving an example on this, think of loan approval system. You have an agent that can automatically approve loans. What if the agent continuously rejects loan for a particular ethnic group, which is a massive red flag, because people will start posting on Facebook and Instagram that, okay, this particular bank is rejecting loan for me. Now, when you look into the logs, there should be some explainability there. Okay, why did the agent continuously reject loans for these set of people? It could be credit score, it could be any other factor that may involve other than race, and that is super important for agents to explain. And as long as that explainability is maintained, you will be able to kind of get a clean chit. So that is where agent ops becomes super important. And at Lyzr, we track each and every data that goes into an LLM and comes out of an LLM. That is the lowest, most granular thing that you can manage. Now, from there on, you can start building your own layer of observability and traceability. It is not just Lyzr. I think all leading platforms do this today. All evolved platforms do this today, but you need to understand these concepts. If someone asks, what does observability mean? What does traceability mean? So please think of this example, the loan approval example. You should be able to explain what happened there. You should be able to, you should have a mechanism to observe how are these agents performing from a latency point of view, from sessions point of view, from credits point of view. And you should also be able to explain the observability part as well, what really happened in the backend. I want to show you with a real example of the observability part. We built a AI hiring assistant agent. So let me show you this example here. You'll be able to see how the observability really works. So this is an AI hiring manager that can accept that you can set up initially. with your company name. So here I'm using Lyzr as an organization name. And once it is set up, I'm just moving forward. So the next agent allows the HR recruiter to accept vague job requirements from the team, internally employees, and then the agent can automatically write detailed job description. Honestly, I've been there as well. I do not give a detailed JD. The HRs will have to normally scramble, but now they don't have to do that. Now there is an agent which is doing it. So all the hiring manager said was, okay, account executive to sell Lyzr agents studio to banks. That's it. So now, because the agent is already trained how to write a JD, it writes. And here now, the HR recruiter is setting up evaluation criteria. Okay, first criteria is banking experience. And let me increase the speed. Yeah, banking criteria and must have sold to banks is the criteria, and they're setting up the weightage. They're entering another evaluation criteria. So in this scenario, say experience, which is relevant experience in sales, must have at least 2 years of sales experience, and there is a weightage of 3. And now they're connecting to the ATL, which is the applicant tracking system, or you can also manually update the resumes as well. So here the agent is evaluating all the applications coming in. Based on the criteria that we already shared, and also the job description that it created. So it uses job description, it uses the criteria to evaluate if this candidate is a good fit for the organization. So let us move forward a bit. Yes. So the agent has rejected 2 candidates and it has shortlisted one, which so far is something that agent is doing. Now imagine if Michael comes back and says, on what grounds did you reject my candidature? And if Michael takes you to the court, what happens? What if Robert comes back with the same thing? Which is where the agent ops really come into picture, because the observability, traceability, all of that eventually goes back to explainability. Are you, with all the data that you're collecting, are you able to explain what really happened? And let us see in this scenario how the explanation works. So here the agent now gives clearly a reason of its thinking. Okay, Sarah is 90%, and because the banking experience was 10-10, and the relevant experience in sales was 10-10. So overall, it's giving a 90% evaluation for Sarah. It is not 10 actually, it was little lower in terms of, I think, the banking experience. So it is kind of, it took a call that it will only give 90% score, but that is still explaining. And you are not doing anything, right? As an organization, you're not necessarily tampering with the agent's thinking process. It is the same exact prompt that is applied on all the candidates, and the agent is able to give its explanation, which is why traceability observability is important, because only with that you will be able to even or will be able to store all the explainability as well, to show to a regulatory body, or in case of any of these questions that may come your way. And in this example that you're seeing, the agent actually goes one step further. It also schedules a meeting automatically with the candidate, and then it also follows up with the manager to collect the feedback of the interview. But I wanted to show this example to show you what explainability means and why it's super important. And since we are collecting, as you saw, the granular data, the more customers that we work with, we realize that different organizations needs different types of analytics built on top. But since you have all the granular data available, you can now build any kind of analytics on top of it. And it also takes different shape and form. For example, this is a pretty popular one, the agents for GTM, go to market teams. So you have AI SDR for outreach and prospecting, an AI SDR agent, a LinkedIn agent, phone agents. Then you have content creation agents. Then you have website engagement agents and marketing and strategy agents. So all these agents are doing their job. They continue to write their learning into a central OGI, which is organizational general intelligence, with which now you can brainstorm as a head of sales. You can brainstorm, okay, what data sources are most critical, and you can ask more such similar questions as well. And if you see from a reporting point of view, they are looking at different types of analytics built in. It is not just the metadata of the agents. The requirements would be to show even the sales analysis by integrating with Salesforce or HubSpot. So use both agent data and the backend system data to bring them together. So since you have the core or the base data available, you can now take any form and shape when it comes to and build your own analysis on top. So that's the advantage of AgentOps, because it's not just for the explainability that you saw. You can also build any form of additional analytics on top of it.